going to go ahead and kick this thing off. This is the amalgamation, if you will.
Yep.
Our first hybrid podcast. We'll release this on both channels, 20%ers and IN3, the collective.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, super pumped. I'm excited to be on the panel tonight. When I got the call, I was really humbled, actually, especially since I'm so familiar with everybody else that's sitting up there.
Sure.
So I appreciate your guys' faith in what you think I'm going to bring to the table tonight.
For sure. When we were sitting around, like kind of even discussing what we wanted to do for this weekend,
Yeah.
because we're doing a certification this weekend, but we really wanted to put something on for like the local community and people in the surrounding greater area. And honestly, you were one of the first names that came up.
Right on.
Because, we had obviously been introduced to you just a few months previous, but you are known in the community, but as well as just being an awesome guy, you do actually have a good bit of knowledge in business.
Been around and done some things.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you were literally one of the first names that came off right off out of the bat.
Right on.
And we're super glad that you accepted and that you're going to be here. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, totally. There's I'm interested to see how it goes from the standpoint of, I know that everybody on that panel is knowledgeable and very is solid at telling their story.
Sure.
Right. But I'm super interested in what the audience is going to want to know.
Yep.
As you guys have the collective and 20%ers is getting off the ground. It's always really interesting. We had our first Thursday meeting last night, and the issues that come up, even if you've heard them before, always seem brand new. They're always in a different context. You know what I'm saying? So, especially in the world of the internet, I'm really interested to see like what that lens looks like, because that's not really where I play.
Right.
I'm the in-person guy. We do a lot of, I have a staff that plays on the internet and does, the remote programming and stuff like that. And, Macros and Metcons is very much an online platform for us. But my perspective is in real time, face-to-face, brick and mortar. So I'm really interested to see like what the breakout is between my habitual dynamic and how that narrative shows up in the online space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of interesting. I really wasn't thinking that way too, but that's actually a very interesting perspective to come in. Because I mean, to be honest, the panel is pretty cool and it's very diverse, right? We do have the Instagram quote unquote influencers, right?
Sure.
We have someone like you who's been in a local market. We also have somebody like Jason, obviously our founder and CEO, who's been out there. He's done it all, right? He's been in small markets. He's been all the way up to now having, a global company. So I'm really just hoping people come and then they do ask questions, right? 'Cause that's sometimes that breaking the ice when you have people up there, especially if they have been fans of you guys, they might be intimidated. So I've already got a list of icebreaker questions in case.
Cool.
I'll step up and just start asking some cool questions.
Start with my favorite color, and that'll help me out.
I think it's great to have you on because of your accomplishments and what you've achieved in person. A lot of the people who will be on the panel have built whatever they have online. But when it's time for a seminar and you have 100 different people coming in, they're brick and mortar, or they're online, or they're just there to help with their friends, or they're continuing education personal trainers. Like, they're going to be a very diverse background from where they're coming. And so we need a diverse panel. And so obviously, what you bring to the table is super high quality. And so, we're thankful that you, accepted, number one, but we're proud to offer people access to the best at what they do. Not just like, they're okay. The best.
Yeah. It's interesting that you posture it that way, because one of the things I know I definitely want to speak on this evening is, although it doesn't matter where you play, but specifically with regards to the online space, racking your fingers on that keyboard is only going to get you so far. Eventually, it always comes back to people skills.
Yep.
You've got to be able to deal with people.
Yep.
You have to be able to not only tell your story, but like tell your story well.
Yes.
Because the question I will ask the audience tonight is, how many of you think that it's information that separates you from your perceived competition? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the dialogue I've been having as I moved into this consultant mentorship role is, I just see a lot of people just putting information out there, information. I'm the expert, information. Nobody gives a fuck how much you know. They can Google that stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They want a recipe for to make chicken not taste bland. You know what I mean?
Imagination.
Imagination first.
They can Google that. You know what I mean? What brings somebody to the point of writing that check and paying you for your services is not the information you provide.
Right.
It's you.
Yep.
And if you don't present as the best version of yourself and you lack the know-how to develop rapport and ask those engaging investigative questions, right? Those are all skill sets that set you apart. And at some point, if you play this entrepreneur game long enough, you have to move out of the role of your profession and become a professional.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right though. They come for you, but they're gonna stay because of the connection, right? And then your connections, right? If it can help them, which goes right into providing value. Like what value are you providing them? I was just literally in a business meeting yesterday talking just about this because we were talking about people coming to the space, and we were kind of going back and forth. And then the gentleman I was talking with kind of really enlightened me a little bit because he was like, I don't think the problem is people can't tell their story. He goes, people over time, especially as they start out in business, right? He said they'll develop their story. The problem is they can't develop it and tell their story to the masses, right? He's like, if you're in a one-on-one conversation, he's like, I see people all the time. They'll sell you anything and you'll buy. He's like, where people have the problem actually building and scaling a business is when they go and try and tell it to 10 people at one time, or they try and tell it to 100 people at one time. Because it's still the same story, but there's slight differences in how you communicate that effectively.
Sure.
So it's kind of funny that you just brought that up, and we're going down that road because I didn't really think about that way. Like, I know when you have people on stage speaking, right, especially from me in a marketing perspective, the sell's way different. Like, I knew that, but I didn't even think about just even sharing your story differently. Just kind of the parameters are always the same, but the actual details slightly change to still make that connection with a bigger audience.
Yep.
100%. That's it's one of those things where your delivery is so important because, again, the variance within your audience, they're not always going to connect with you. They might connect with someone else, and it may just be a simple twist of words. Like, anyone who's ever been a coach or a trainer understands this. You could be the best Olympic weightlifting coach in your gym, and you could have someone struggling with their, let's say their third pull. They go to another gym and they get a cue that they've never heard that you have said in different words 100 times, but they hear it in that one way, throw your head back at the top. And so, bam, triple extension, opening the hips all the way. However, jump, catapult, whatever you want to say. And another coach told them at the top, throw your head back. And they're like, oh, I can snatch now. And it's just, words matter.
100%.
Words matter.
One of the things that I find value in as I apprentice the coaches that come through our pipeline is stressing variety. Like, you're going to have your go-tos based on the way that you've been coached, but it's in your best interest to be coached by as many different coaches in a specific modality as possible. not because you're interested in the information, but how they deliver that information. So in the instance that you come across somebody, and you will, who doesn't get your go-to stuff, you have a bag of tricks that's so deep that eventually, maybe on the 17th try, that's the one that works.
Not every job requires the hammer. Sometimes it's the saw. Sometimes it's the screwdriver. It's all about tools.
Right.
You know, anything that's built on human connection, you're going to be served better from learning a multitude of different ways. And it's not being two-faced, but being a chameleon. You should be able to adapt to the person that you're having a conversation with to make them feel at ease, to connect with them better. You know, there's certain times where if it's all of us and Jason in the room, there's going to be some dirty words. But if I'm talking to a 70-year-old woman, it's not going to be any dirty words.
Right.
But we can connect in the same manner. We can, I don't like to say provide value. We can help them in the same manner just by using different language, different inflection, different tone in your voice. And if you deal with anyone, mastering connection is so important in all of the aspects that come with it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things like in the space, especially in the very beginning, when you're just so focused on trying to be the expert and make your mark in the industry, right? You go learn everything about fitness and nutrition, since that's the platform we're talking about, right? You go to all the NSCA seminars, and you come to IN3, and you come, you do the precision nutrition thing, and you get involved with WAG or whatever. You're just dialed in on learning the deal, right? I come at it differently. Like once you have the credential or you've made the conscious decision to step into this space, something in your subconscious told you that you are ready to stand your ground in the industry, right? So let's acknowledge that for what it is.
Sure. And
go learn the nuances, modeling behavior, modeling tone. As if, we're sitting here talking and that's where you're comfortable. This means something to you. Yep. Right. It's completely unassuming. Most people aren't aware, but if you know that, right, our connection just became that much stronger, that much faster. They don't teach that shit at an NSCA conference. You know what I mean? You got to go outside the box, explore neurolinguistic programming, go do Toastmasters and learn how to speak. Sure. You know what I mean? Like those are the things that will really separate you, because watch, when I say who thinks information is the thing, watch how many hands go up. Guess what? You're just like everybody else.
Yep. Exactly.
Everything you thought you were doing to set yourself apart just put you further and further in the box.
Yep. You can memorize all of the things. It doesn't matter. You can read and consume and memorize everything, and so has everyone else. You can become a walking Google. That shit does not matter whatsoever if you are a robot and you're only capable of talking like this. Or you're a fucking dick in the way you deliver everything. You're overconfident. There's so many different turnoffs for people. It doesn't matter how much you know. It's more how you can apply what you know and what you can do. We're beating the dead horse. It's all about connection.
100%. We say all the time, even with our cert, that's just on my mind because it's starting tomorrow. We say all the time, like all the knowledge is out there. You don't need us for that. We're going to refresh it that's what day one is.
Sure.
But day two, which is our application, you've actually been through our level one. That's where we start to set ourselves apart, is actually being able to provide practical application with your knowledge.
And, I think that's what separates the IN3 process from it. Specifically with nutrition coaching, apart from anything else I've seen in the space, is that emphasis on connection. And Jason leads with that. Yeah. Even on day one, even though that's the nutrition part. Sure. And then if I was to categorize it, day two is the people part. Yeah.
And by no way am I trying to plug that. That's just on my mind.
Sorry. I'll plug it because it's fucking good. It's the best.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
That $20 is on the table.
I'll snag it on the way out.
Slide that in real quick.
No, but seriously, it is the connection, and I think people fall in love with the internet thing because they think they're under the impression in the beginning that it's apersonal. You know, I don't have to get to know them.
Yep.
I just provide the service. It's just an exchange of service and money.
Yeah, just transactional at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Transactional. That's the word I was looking for. And it's not. You know, the deeper I get into this game, and I'm 20 years into the fitness game. I've been doing this thing since I was 15 years old.
Yep.
And I'm at the point now where after a certain point with a client, a member, an athlete, we're going to do the fitness thing. You know what I'm saying? But at a certain point, we're going to figure out why you're actually here.
Yep.
That's crucial.
It's not about the fitness. Like we've eclipsed that.
Never
you know
was.
what I mean? Like you're in shape. You feel good about yourself. You know, like your health, all your biomarkers are improving. Why are we still here?
Yep.
Like that's a very important question to answer. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many people have like cried in my arms when they get to the point where they can actually answer it.
Yep.
1,000%. We talk about it all the time. Like Jason will say why behind the why, but more times than not, just from even my own experience, when I was coaching people, we always allude to this, and especially when it comes to couples or people who are married that would come to me, what does it always come back to? They want to look good naked because they want to go out and two things. They want to not worry about date night, right? They want to go out and have some wine, eat some food, not worry about, and then they want sex.
Yeah.
They want to be attracted to their significant other.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what it would come down to every time. It would be the smirk on after Thursday date night. You know,
That's right.
They would just walk in the gym, they'd give you a wink, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a successful date night.
Yeah. My wife and I have an imaginary prenup, and in that agreement, neither of us are allowed to get out of shape.
It's true though, right? It's
no,
true.
absolutely.
That's a good prenup to have.
That's hilarious though.
You know, people, you know, it's funny because when you get into that goal setting conversation, right, everything starts at such a surface level. You know, I want to be in better shape. Well, what exactly does that mean? You know, I want to look better naked. Well, what's wrong with the way that you look now?
Yep.
You know, who told you you're not good enough?
Yep. 100%.
And more importantly, why do you believe it?
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
The deeper I get into like what I call real coaching,
Yep.
you know, there's so much shit as we transition. We've exposed it numerous times on Feed Me, Fuel Me, and it comes up over and over again in 20%ers in this conversation. There is so much shit that we take with us from childhood experiences that continue to manifest at fucking 30 years old. It's incredible.
And well beyond 30 years old. Well beyond.
You know, it's wild. But if you're not a naturally curious person, you know, those are the people that I find are most readily available to take the deep dive, like almost off the bat. They're just naturally curious. They're the people who have a million fucking questions anyway. So let's ask the right ones. Like that's easy.
Right.
But when you ask somebody, you know, that question, you know, what's wrong? What do you think is wrong with you? Who told you and why do you believe it? Right. Those are very, very challenging questions to answer for 99% of the population. And if you do the work, you ask the questions, and you get honest with yourself. The conversation that sticks out most vividly is Amanda Goolsby. She was one of our most recent episodes of Feed Me, Fuel Me, and she talks about her journey through bodybuilding, right, and her obsession with her physique, right. As she went through her process and did the deep work, what she came to discover was, or acknowledge, I should say, I think she kind of always like knew it in the back of her mind, was that her obsession with her physique was because of the external praise that she got for how good she looked as a result of her parents separating when she was a kid, and the perception of her 5-year-old self competing for her dad's love and affection when her stepmom came into the picture.
Yep.
At 5 fucking years old.
Yep.
That's playing out in your 20s.
Yep. It's insane.
Dude.
It's crazy.
And, you know, it's so easy to say, oh, you should just let that shit go. But you can't if you don't know how, right? And that's where, like, real coaching comes in.
Yeah.
I can get you in the best shape of your fucking life. I can't, in a training session, get you over that.
Right.
No.
Well, it's one of those things where it's showing in her 20s, and guess what? If you don't bring her to that point, to that deep pain point, and you don't acknowledge it, understand it, deal with it, would have been well into her 40s or 50s.
Right.
It's not something that goes away until you make it go away.
Yeah.
So, you know, earlier we were talking about RDJ and his rock bottom moment. So there's
Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
Iron
Sorry,
Man.
guys.
Iron Man.
Hey, you can't just drop an acronym out of nowhere, man. What are you doing?
Now hold up. We're talking about Tony Stark. If I say RDJ, you better know who I'm talking about. Okay, we know who J-Lo is. We know who A-Rod is.
I will not lie. Sorry to interject, but if he's not up for an Oscar for that his death scene,
Oh my God,
I cried.
the world cried. The world. We lost the greatest hero the earth has ever seen.
One of those where you stand up and you're like, we gotta do something manly. You guys wanna do some push-ups? There's still right here.
Like, there's very few scenes in movies that can put that type of emotion for us now. Iron Man's death. I think it's acceptable as a man to say you cried when you were a kid, and I'm not ready for this shit again. I'm not ready for Mufasa to go.
Oh man,
I'm not ready to scratch that wound open.
you got kids? The first time I watched Lion King with my son, I cried like a straight bitch. What? Like, he can't even talk.
Yeah.
He's crawling. He's not even crawling yet. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. My wife's in the kitchen like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Shut up.
We're such a Lion King. Don't worry about it.
It touches a chord, man. You know?
Sure.
I think the other scene is the first time you see the movie 300 at the end, I'm ready to fight. Like the speech that you're hearing him give as he's recapping what happened, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready to fucking run through walls, to take souls, everything. We were going to get the Persians.
You're out in your garage like trying to make a shield.
I'm gonna rein this back in.
RDJ.
Thank God I didn't forget about this. RDJ. So in the way that I've thought about life, there's two ways to change yourself. One is sudden. One takes a lot of time. Sudden is rock bottom.
Yeah.
You have to do a 180.
Yep.
Literally, by how that goes. Once you hit here, there's no further. You have to turn and do a 180. The other way is slow, deliberate reflection, thought on yourself, how you dealt with each day. What can you do that you fucked up today that you can do better tomorrow? For a lot of people, they don't understand that there's a lot of deep shit that you carry with you throughout your entire life. Part of it's your nature, part of it's your nurture. But you have to get to that place where you can start to accept it. And for 99% of the people, like you were saying, they haven't spent that time thinking. 1% or less has. And so if you ever want to break a human being down, and you can get them to where they're going to be honest, if I'm to take anyone, why are you like this? And just hammer them. Why? 5 to 7 different times. Deeper layer every time. And you're going to get to whatever is so broken within them. And we are people. We are all broken in one way or another. And it drives us to greatness or to horrible things.
Absolutely.
But we carry something broken. How you deal with that once you get to that place determines who you can be going forward. You can continue to be depressed, angry, violent, addicted. Or you can get to the place, you can understand it. At that point, you have earned the right to let that shit go.
100%.
You cannot just let that shit go until you know why it's fucking with you so bad and what happened and the importance it holds. Like so I was a military brat growing up. A lot of different places, Georgia, Alabama, Illinois, just moved a lot.
Army?
Army.
Yeah.
Okay. Fort Stewart. I was born in Tripler in Hawaii.
Okay.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Why? See, I live in Illinois, so it's like, why are you here? I don't know. Not my choice. Here I am. But so there are certain traits you pick up along the way when you move a lot. One is to be a chameleon,
100%.
to adapt, to make friends. The other is when you don't have that. And so like a couple of the places that I moved to were in the country, right? And so I don't have kids next door to play with. When I was in 6th grade, I got into just kid. I was a new kid in school, and this kid was talking shit. And so I held him halfway out a 3rd-story window. And so there was some fear that got into the kids in my class, and that fear for me was power. I became a little violent after that. A little bit of fighting happened for probably a good 15 years of my life.
Yeah.
And it's all taken back to that. And so I'm a very passionate person by nature. And so over time, I've become a very stoic person because the passions can lead you to some bad places and some bad reactions emotionally.
Sure.
So it's one of those things where for me, it's taken years of work. And there's still days where something happens. And it's not something that instantly bothers me, but if there's something that just keeps coming, a problem that keeps coming, sometimes you just stomp your foot. You know, you turn into Kyle who drinks Monsters and punches walls, you know, that dude. But the passion arises in you. And it's just, that's partly my nature, partly my nurture, because, you know, my father was also a very angry man because his father was an angry man who was, you know, it's all deeply rooted things. And
it's almost epigenetic at that point.
It absolutely is. It's that mix of nature and nurture. And so for me, it's taken a long time. And, you know, part of it's getting old. Part of it is, the biggest part is my family. You know, my wife pushes me to be a better person. I look at my son, I'm like, I don't want you to go through what I went through. I don't want you to see the stuff that I've seen. You know, let's play some chess.
Yeah.
Let's not play the video games. Let's play the chess. Let's talk about, you know, how to deal with your feelings as they arise. And like, it's not one of those things where it's, oh, we're talking about feelings. No, I'm teaching him how to be a man,
right,
and to avoid the mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it all circles back to your ability to recognize what is broken where, and as a good coach, like a real coach, you have to be able to do that with people. Everyone who's ever been a coach in any form or another knows that you're a psychologist, you're a psychiatrist. Like,
yeah, and I think to that point, not only do you have to know how to do that stuff, but the people that that go the distance in this gig, they're genuinely interested in that shit.
Yes,
for sure.
Like, it's not that I have to know. I want to know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's totally different.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not a check in the box in my job description. You know what I mean? It's something that it's a question that burns within me, that I've seen and experienced the benefits of finding those answers. And I want to know what those answers are for you.
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially, I know we keep alluding to nutrition and fitness. It's just what we're all talking about. But regardless of your business, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you're passionate about, there's a reason why you're passionate. There's a reason why you even care about, whether it's marketing or whether it's you have a supplement store, right? Or you own a car wash, whatever it is. Maybe that one was just given to you. I'm not sure about a car wash, but maybe you really like washing cars.
Family car wash baron.
But there's a reason why you're even it. There's a reason I'm sitting at this table right now. There's a reason you are. There's a reason he is, right? And if you're not even willing to like look inward on yourself to figure out what that passion is, how are you going to even try and help somebody else? And on top of that, how are you even going to stay in the game? Because if you don't know your driving factors deep down inside, it's never going to keep you long enough to actually even make an impact that you want.
Or the flip side of that is if you're not doing that if you're not consistently checking in with yourself and rekindling that self-discovery periodically, you don't know when to get out.
Sure. That's a great point.
There's also a time when it's over.
Yep.
And there's also the other side of this entire discussion is there's that instance where you stay in the game too damn long. And that's a fault of not knowing. You know what I mean?
That's the double-edged sword of loving something. Mm-hmm. I mean, the best example that we ever see is the easiest is athletes. Mm-hmm. Athletes who walk away well past their prime. And it's, these days it's the worst to see is fighters. Because once the chin goes, it don't come back. Yeah. And that's detrimental. Right. But like the great
Max and I just talked about that yesterday. Yeah.
It's the great Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Finishing up with the Wizards, where he took a team that was nothing and turned them into one of the best defensive teams, but still it did do something to the tail end of his legacy when he came back, played with broken ribs, coming off severe knee issues. Mm-hmm. We should remember him for the shot.
Right.
Game 6, mm-hmm. Jazz.
Right.
The alleged push-off, mm-hmm. right? That's how he should have gone out. Mm-hmm. But his love kept him around, got a little tainted.
Right.
And it's just, that's the easy example. Mm-hmm. But it happens in everything. When you stick around too long, you tend to do more harm than good.
Sure.
And you got to be aware. Mm-hmm. It's about being cognizant.
Yeah. Since 100%. We've been throwing around references to superhero movies, that's the old Two-Face, right, from Batman, where you die the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good.
Solid parallel. Well played.
Just here, guys. Just here to collect my check and
collect your Fairlife chocolate milk.
I've been waiting for a while to drop that one. Finally found a place for it.
I'll be when the Joker comes out, I'll be looking for your name in the credits.
Good Halloween costume for you, by the way, just because.
Oh, you could totally pull that off.
Got the hair now. Yep. You guys are ruining my surprise. Thanks. Everybody knows.
No mysteries here. But yeah, I mean, coming back to this evening, I think that there's just going to be my expectation is just a lot of aha moments for the audience. For a lot of what I'm experiencing right now as I consult and mentor is people are looking for permission to be excellent. It's the oddest thing to me because I come from an environment both at home in the way I was raised and by virtue of the Marine Corps. Excellence is just an expectation, Sure. You're supposed to be good. You're supposed to be smart. You're supposed to be excellent. Like anything south of excellent is subpar.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the dialogue that I'm having right now is, hey, I want to talk to you about this. And then we get into the deal and I'm like, so you said you wanted to talk about this thing. But what are we really talking about? Yeah.
Are we really talking about creatine here?
If you want my permission to pursue your passion, if you want my permission to be amazing, if you want my permission to be fucking happy, you have it.
Yeah.
It's the most interesting thing, and what I'm noticing is more often than not, if you don't come from where I come from, you have to latch onto something, right? There's got to be a beacon of some sort, and a lot of people find it in this business.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Then they get into it, and they're like, "Oh my God. There's a lot more to it than I thought."
If you're not watching video, there was just a couple eye rolls.
But like that that piece, that very critical piece, like, get over the imposter syndrome and go fucking do it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's what all of us want for the industry is a saturation of fucking excellence. Not this bottom feeder race to the bottom. I can be cheaper than the next guy, but I'm better mentality. It's horrible.
If you're cheaper, you're not better. I just want to put that out there. The people who are damn good and they know they are damn good, they are not Kmart, they are Target. We're nicer, we're cleaner, we got bigger, wider aisles. You're going to pay $8 more on every trip you come here, but guess what? You're going to come every single time because it's better in every single way. So if you're the cheapest, you're not the best.
You know, that's the way when CrossFit was peaking, specifically here in the Phoenix market, that's when I opened CrossFit PHX. And it was a race to the fucking bottom, man. It was crazy. How much do they charge around the corner? Okay, we'll come in at $10 cheaper. I'm fucking guilty of that. That was a very hard lesson I had to learn. And the no shit scariest moment of my brick and mortar career was making the leap and charging what I know we were worth. And it changed the fucking game.
Oh my God, are they going to leave? Am I going to lose everything?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I was told early on, if you can't be the cheapest, you better be the most expensive, because that middle ground, that middle ground is where you're going to just die. Like you may survive for a couple of years, but if you're actually trying to grow and scale and build something of note and worth, you better be.
And you watched it happen. Doors are still rolling up left and right, in the CrossFit space. It's insane. And but the other thing you see is gyms experiencing this massive growth, like all of a sudden, the spots that focus on just being great now have this amazing online presence all of a sudden. Like now the cream is rising to the top, and the consumer, what I've noticed as people roll through our doors, is becoming so much more educated, and they come in with this expectation of excellence, and now they know where to get it.
Sure.
Well, it's not new anymore. If we take it back to days of like Vibram 5 Fingers and Infidel T-shirts and, like OG days.
Yeah.
For the most part, it was a bit counterculture. You wanted to work out in a rickety place. A lot of people were already in damn good shape. And now it's mainstream, and now it's a weight loss, and now it's community driven. It's always been community driven.
Yeah.
Don't get that twisted. But people buy into the experience, but it's been around for a decade. We're in the information age. People are educated on what is good for them, what is not. Now, again, it's what you offer and it's connection, because in Chicago, if you want to see athletes, and it's been for years, you go to South Loop Strength and Conditioning. It's not a big place. It's open gym, constantly just beasts in the corners, beasting out, general class, competition class, everything. Little bit dark, little bit dingy. Now you can go downtown and you can go to Brick and with $30,000 bathroom and everything's super nice, and but you can't drop the weights on the floors because it makes noise and there's people underneath, and so we use pads. And if you're a beast, you don't go beast out at Brick.
Yeah,
you go because you like nice things, and there's nothing wrong with liking nice things.
Right.
We want clean environments. As a gym, you should damn sure want a clean environment.
Right.
By the way, look at the bathroom first thing. Walk in, look at the bathroom. If it's no good, leave.
Yeah, right.
Get out.
But it's what you bring to the table. It's what your market is. And so once you've decided who you are, go be really fucking good at being you.
Yeah.
Deliver the best thing. Over deliver. If you're the guy who charges $200 a month, deliver $250. If you're that person, I live in a smaller town. There's $99 a month is a real thing. They're not filling the gyms. You better be delivering 125, 150. You got to deliver that extra 20% over on whatever you're charging.
It's interesting because I've always been of the mindset, I'm going to say it before somebody else says it. And then when they say it, I know I've arrived.
Yep.
And I said when I wanted to build the best CrossFit box in America.
Did you?
In 2017, men's
Did you? Did that happen?
Men's Journal seems to think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, they in 2017 they rated us the #1 CrossFit box in America.
Who was number 2?
Lahaina, Tom Ragusa.
I did that on purpose.
He's solid. Love that guy. I was just down in Maui, man.
I know. I sent you that DM. I was like, the number 2 gym is there. But
Love you, bro.
But Tommy and Janelle. Love. So here's a little backstory, and here's the proof of it's not the location, it's who you are. Tommy and Janelle bought that gym. Tommy and Janelle, Bloomington, Illinois. So I used to work out at Four Seasons 2, which is Globo if there's ever a Globo. And I'm over there. I discovered CrossFit online. This is way back in the day, so everyone's looking at me like I'm a freak because I'm going from it was something with like push press box jump.
Were you wearing calf socks and Vibrams?
I absolutely was wearing calf socks, but I was not wearing Vibrams.
Chucks. Oh, okay. All right. You're OG.
There's certain things I refuse to do. You know, Vibrams is like if they were like, you jump 6 more inches tomorrow if you were vegan. Well, guess what? Not jumping any higher tomorrow, right? Same thing with Vibrams. It's not happening, bro. So Tommy came up, and for those, Tom Ragusa looks like he's drawn. He is not human. He looks like a cartoon come to life. He is so muscular, right? So this big, intimidating dude who turns out to be like the nicest guy of all time.
One of the coolest, most down-to-earth people I've ever met.
Both of them. You know, Janelle's great too. But he came up, he's like, you doing CrossFit? Like, you know what CrossFit is? Like it was like Fight Club, you know? Yes.
Can you say that out loud?
And so we're in central Illinois, and he's like, oh, I'm going next month to Arizona to get certified. You know, that was back when there weren't certs all over the place, way back when Greg was still, Coach was doing it.
Yeah.
And so they ran Fit Bodies CrossFit in Bloomington, which is to this day, you know, the best community I've ever been a part of. And they were, you know, up to almost $200 a month in central Illinois years ago, booming, just booming, dude. And that community is a reflection of who they are. And that gym is a reflection of who they are and their excellence. So it's not done by accident. I'll butcher the Aristotle quote about excellence, but it's, you know, we are what we do every day. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit, right? And so that gym, number 1 in some people's hearts, number 2 in the rankings, is not by accident. It's by design. And so when you say, I set out to be number 1 and you are number 1, it's by design. It's not the location. It's no fluke. It's who you are, and it's what you do every single day. Rant over.
I'd have to imagine it's just, you know, how you do one thing's how you do everything, right? You're saying they're amazing people. They build an amazing community. It's probably just not a coincidence. They had an amazing gym, and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. He just expanded. He just.
They got a new location.
Yeah. In May, we were out there in May, and they were just finishing the build out on the new space. It's sick.
Really?
Yeah. I think they doubled their square footage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they just moved 2 bays down, you know, on the same lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're legit, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's just good, man, and you can tell like he's a really humble guy. But when he's on the floor, you know there's an expectation of excellence.
Really?
Yeah. Like it just oozes out of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That energy thing.
Yep.
You know?
It's one of those like unspoken things.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning about like, you know, like the vibe thing, you know, good, bad, you know, like you just feel it.
Yeah.
You can't explain it.
Yep.
They're probably not a bad person, you know, like you don't know nothing. You don't know why they're awesome. They just are, you know. He's that guy.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so is his wife, Janelle. She's amazing.
Amazing people, just amazing. And
Yep.
Yeah, he built like a fucking superhero.
Yep. I wasn't being rude scrolling on my phone on social media. I was just trying to get a pic up of Tommy just to.
I want to get to the point where we can do this thing like Rogan and just fucking superimpose YouTube right there. We're like, watch this dude throw this weight, you know? Just
Where's young Teddy? Bring that up.
Max, can we pull that up? Like, so going bringing it all back to tonight, this evening.
Do you set expectations? Not to cut you off. So like we've talked about expectations a couple times, and I know we've even on our podcast we've kind of gone back and forth from like times when maybe expectations are good, and other times when you set expectations and it just kind of derails you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm kind of curious of what like for this instance, like are you setting expectations, or do you just kind of go with the flow in this scenario, or how's that work for you?
Both.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. And with this specific scenario, this panel, I don't see any reason why there shouldn't be an expectation of awesome and knowledge bombs being dropped. Yeah. And at the same time, knowing who I know on the panel, like I feel like it'll be very easy to go with the flow.
Sure.
You know, no, there's no imposters up there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, when I saw the cast, I was like, oh yeah, I belong in this group. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, setting expectations is a really big fucking deal, man. I remember, you know, I wasn't big into podcasting when I opened the gym, and I genuinely believe that CrossFit PHX was one of the last gyms to have an Instagram. You know, I fought it tooth and nail, but one of my interns who was finishing his undergrad, who became one of my most successful coaches, and now he's the head coach of women's basketball at a high school out in Mason now. Awesome. He's sitting there doing the intern thing, and he's like, hey, come check out this podcast. I was like, what the fuck is a podcast? Right. So I step into the office, and he's watching Barbell Shrugged. And I'm listening to Mike, Doug, and Chris do the thing, and I was just like so impressed with their delivery and whatnot. And I made a goal in my mind after watching the first episode of that podcast. I was like, I'm going to be on that show. I want to be so good I end up on that show. I've been on it twice.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't the name in the industry. I was just some dude less than a year out of the Marine Corps who opened a gym. You know what I mean? And I said, I'm going to be on that show. And they came and got me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's so dope.
I didn't write a letter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's part of being so damn good that you're not ignored.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter how you get there, because there's always those outliers. The best coach, and I think I'm taking this from Sean Pastuch, Dr. Sean. Mm-hmm. It's like the best coach doesn't have a lot of Instagram followers right now. The best coaches probably have less than 1,000. I think I commented, I was like, I got 682. You're damn right. but what it comes down to is every ounce of your being you're pouring into social media, you're pouring away from your craft. Mm-hmm. Right now it's marketing. It's part of it. That's where we're at. It's 2019. You have to be somewhat on social anymore if you want to take it to that next level.
Sure.
But it's not a prerequisite for greatness in what you do. You don't have to be great on social. I suck on it. I post like once a month. I'll put up some stories, but I don't want to take the time out of my day to find the picture, to find the filter, to find whatever words are going to flow with this and that. I don't care. I just don't. I'd rather focus on moving my family forward, moving my company forward, moving myself forward as a man. I don't give a shit about social media at all. And you don't have to have it. And again, you're proof of that. You set the goal, you commit to excellence in what you do. People are going to find you. It doesn't matter. You don't need the letter. You don't need the connection. But I can get you the connection if you need.
It goes back to kind of like I think a lot of people, especially dealing with people in our collective, sometimes that you alluded to, the imposter syndrome, right? That's where that all comes in. You're scared because you step out in that spotlight. People are going to start commenting, and everyone here is seeing when someone big up posts. Like I always remember Stan Efferdine, right? I was one of the first ones just by accident to comment on one of his posts.
Okay.
It wasn't even anything bad. He was talking about basically meat eaters versus vegan, and he was just alluding to something else that was posted and just asking for thoughts. And I simply, without thinking, was just like, hey, like, why does it matter? Like, just if people are going to eat this way, that's fine. If they're going to eat that way, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it goes back to your goals, performance, aesthetics, longevity.
The villagers came out with the pitchforks.
Oh my gosh. Like, my phone just started blowing up, and I just threw it to the side, and I was like, I'm done. I deleted my Instagram app. My inbox was instantly filled with people like just talking so much shit and saying, who are you to comment on this subject? I didn't even say anything.
That's such an innocuous statement.
Yeah, it was just literally because those two camps are so passionate, meat eaters versus vegans. And it was just talking about, the actual post was talking about agriculture and sustainability and stuff. And I was like, no matter what you look at, the industry's fucked either way. I was like, just do what you're doing and be conscious of your daily input, like something like that. And holy shit.
That's so funny, man. You know, it's a great segue into another thing that'll probably come up on the panel tonight is the difference between principles and method.
Sure.
We can argue method.
Yep.
There are many.
All fucking day long. CrossFit, Zumba, Olympic lifting.
Yeah.
Ragnar, right? Who cares?
Yep.
The principles remain the fucking same.
Yep.
Yes.
Specificity, progressive overload, recovery. Those are the inarguable. We can get into the weeds on the other stuff, but that's when you know you're dealing with a true professional or a savant. The savant just fucking gets it.
Yep.
Right.
They don't bother with the weeds. But a true professional, let's discuss principle. And then once we're in agreement on these principles, now we can talk about application. And there's so much bullshit on the internet right now about application.
Sure.
That is either so biased with no context or it's a statistical quote with zero relevance. And it's so annoying. It's so annoying. But I'm a professional. I'm the subject matter expert. I'm like, no, you're the professional fucking idiot.
Yep. 100%.
You know, and I really hope that we're able to articulate the difference for those that may be in the clouds as to which is which, because that's also very easy, you know, to be so bought in on CrossFit, right? It's the only way.
Yep.
No, you know, maybe it's just a season for you, you know.
It should be.
Which is fine.
Your body's not designed to do this for decades. I'm telling you now.
You know, but I tell people, like, people are like, why CrossFit? You know, I went from college football to bodybuilding for 5 years, the Marine Corps, you know, that's its own fitness regimen, and found CrossFit later on.
Sure.
Because I like this shit.
Exactly. It's what you like.
Period. And obviously it fucking works, but I like it.
Yeah.
You know, like, for me, that's the end. Like, we don't need to discuss anything else. I'm not going to argue with you,
right?
You know, about the right or the wrong of it.
Right.
You know,
it's when you do anything, there's inherent risk. Doesn't matter what it is. My wife taught Zumba for a long time. You can pretty easily roll an ankle if you're not extremely coordinated in Zumba. It's non-contact. It's as light as it gets, right? Real quick, the way that I always compare it, because there's a lot of that shit, and it's getting a little bit better, but, you know, it's, CrossFit's done because of this, or powerlifting, you don't have any endurance. It's like 70s kung fu movies. Like, my kung fu is better than yours. Man, shut up. What it comes down to is you're doing something physical. And it's what you like. You like yoga? Cool, do yoga. You like running? Go for a run. There's going to be something that comes along with whatever. You're going to get hurt. You're doing physical stuff. It does not matter what it is. It's just do what you enjoy. And like you said, why CrossFit? I like it. I like hard shit.
Yeah.
It's challenging. You can't say it's suffering because you enjoy it.
Right.
You know, you're a different type of human if you really enjoy that. I really enjoy hard things. I'll probably go for a run later when it's 113 just to see what it feels like. I've ran in 102 with 100% humidity. It's pretty fucking terrible, but I've never just run in the pure heat. Sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
Doesn't get any more pure than this.
Let's see how it goes, you know? And it's just, as I've transitioned part of the way out of CrossFit, you know, I still do some of it because it's just so fun. Just to get after it is so fun. But now I'm just finding I just like doing really hard shit just to push.
Yeah.
Just for that challenge, you know? And that's more and more I'm finding out that's who I am as I get older. It's just I want to push myself a little bit further and push the boundaries a little bit more. I was talking at breakfast with Teddy before I got here. I've never been a runner. I hate running. Zombies or cops better be behind me. You know, that's always been me. And I got tricked by my wife about 5 years ago into running 6 miles. I was mad. I didn't want to run. I ran 6 miles. I was really mad because that's a lot. And I've never been a runner. And so like, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks ago, I was like, I want to see if I can run that far. I haven't ran in years. So I ran 6 miles. Great. Let's make it harder. We've got a state park. So the next week we ran 6 miles of hills. Just 6 miles of, it's just pure hills.
Trail run?
So it leads to a state park and it's an actual road, but the curves are dangerous. You can't see the cars coming. They can't see you. So you got to be quick on your feet.
You turn into an adventure.
Yeah, I'm trying. Not a DC character. And then the next time I think I tried to do a live, but I messed it up because technology, and I said I'm no good at social media. But for IN3, there's like a 7-minute IGTV where I was like, 6 miles in the heat with a weighted vest. Let's do it. And so next week I'll bump it up to 7, which isn't a lot. But again, I'm not a runner. I don't train for this shit. It's just hard for me, and I like it. And it's just, let's keep pushing forward. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't challenge you, doesn't change you. Just knowledge bombs over here, guys. Just dropping them.
One-liners all day. Yeah, you know, I want to see, like, people feel, I want to see the physical expression of people being challenged. You know, I want them to be confronted with things that they thought were true. And Logan Gilbert is really good at articulating this dichotomy, you know, discovering that the things that they thought were true aren't, or that the thing that they hold so dear can also exist with something that they don't subscribe to.
Yep.
I want to watch that wash over the crowd tonight.
Yep.
Because between everybody on that panel, I think we all, you know, if you were to call us experts as individuals, we're all experts differently. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it'll be a very, it'll lead to really awesome discussion.
Yeah, I'm honestly pumped for that because that's honestly what I'm looking forward to as well. Because sure, the first couple questions are always going to be super generic. Probably like I instantly just, how do you build a following? What do you guys do? Do you guys use templates? Like, you know, like you're going to get, I'm sure, those very general questions because everyone just assumes, I think, that there's one, exactly what we talked about just a couple seconds ago, there's one proven method, and that's what everyone up on that panel has done to get where they are. And it's going to be like, not even close.
No.
You guys have all taken completely different routes.
Yeah.
In that's completely different ways, which is what's awesome.
I'm also interested in hearing, I don't know everybody's backstory. Yeah. So like the origin story, bring it back to comic books. Yeah. Yeah. I want to hear everybody's origin story too. Yeah. I'm super pumped to hear about that.
Yeah. Which is going to be awesome. But yeah, that light bulb moment, right? Where, I don't have to do it that way. Oh, I can just be me. That works out.
How about that? You know, if I'm my most authentic self, people kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know, the right people will like that.
100%. Granted, you still have to have a good product, right? Like you can't have a shit product.
You have to be.
You can't suck.
You have to be good. You'll get better.
Yeah.
You don't have to be great to start, but you should probably be like okay at what you do.
Yeah.
You should have, there's a prerequisite level of education. You should have understanding. You should have the ability to articulate what your thoughts are. You should have that before you start. You don't have to be great at what you do, because the reality is success is, it's so individualized in your interpretation. You know, for me, it's using my God-given talents and the talents that I've refined to move people forward. Again, whether that's my family, my company, myself.
Right.
For me, that's success. If I get that opportunity, that's success for me. You don't have to have 1 million people following you, you know, making 7 figures. Believe it or not, success can be having 20 clients, just one-on-one basis in your hometown of people that you're helping them with their goals. You're making them happy. Success can be that. You don't have to build this fucking unicorn bullshit Instagram story to be successful. It's very much, you know, what you do to people. And those people who chase followers and they forget why they're actually doing this. If you're not in this shit to help humans, to make them better, you will fail. You might be able to hide that shit for a little bit. You might be able to steal other people's words, steal their content. Oh, this is the triangle of awareness by me, or, you know, or by Jason Phillips. Anyways, but the point is, like, once you start chasing that end goal and you stop chasing that journey, done. Done 100%. Some of the best moments I've ever had have nothing to do with the scale. So I'm not going to give their names because I don't want to embarrass them in their own gym. But I coached a couple. And so one of the best moments was they dropped their kid off for the kids class. And they came back and her hair was a little tousled and he had a smile on his face. And I mean, we're talking, these are adults with kids, 30s, 40s, right? I looked at him, I was like, I know what you did. Face got a little red. He just smiled and nodded. That's fucking victory right there. That's success. When you can take people who are struggling in their lives, struggling with their body images, you know, struggling at anything in their life. And you're like, all right, you know, you guys are both working hard, you're working together, and they have that moment of young giddiness. Teenagers, take them out of their element, take them to a different place. That shit's success. When you get the text message from someone, there's someone who's going to be at our level 1 who a long time ago sent me a message and like, I just want you to know I used to drink every night. And I sat in the car and considered pulling the trigger. When you started coaching me, I haven't touched alcohol since. I put that up in our private IN3 coaches page. Like that's a real thing. That's fucking success. It's not it's not like, oh, I got 5 new clients at $225 a month. You know, I got this money. We had someone who, Jason asked them, are they successful? And their response, this was at a level 1 I was at, like, well, I drive a Mercedes. I mean, he roasted him. He's like, well, I got a fucking $200,000 i8 that's been parked for 6 months. What's your point? You know, it's not, money's cool. Don't let anyone get it twisted. You need it. Right. And unless you're a monk, you need that, but that's not success. That's not what drives success. As soon as you forget what your mission is, it's over. You don't have to ask about building a following. You'll never have one.
No, it takes forever to build it, and it'll crumble in a fucking instant. You know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight, and like I said, when we kick this whole thing off, I'm extremely honored and humbled to be sitting on that panel for you guys.
Yeah, man, we're just thankful you accepted it and that you're going to be a part of it. I'm really hoping that this kind of sets something up even for maybe the future for this area, right? I mean, this is quote unquote one of the healthiest cities in the U.S. usually, right? And there's, what did you counted up how many gyms were here, right?
Oh, dear God.
It's astronomical number.
The thing is, I mean, we've got Scottsdale, which if you look at, you know, different ranking systems, this is the fittest city in the U.S. by consensus.
Is it?
Just the number of gyms, you know, all the metrics that get into it. But then it's Scottsdale, it's Phoenix. Like the lines are blurred, and it's just a sprawling location with gyms forever. There's like 80 CrossFit gyms here. That's absurd. That's a lot of fitness. That's not even talking about Orange Theory, yoga, stretch labs, Globo gyms, personal training. Everyone here should be jacked and tan all the time. And yeah, we should definitely be laying the groundwork to build that community even further. You want to support your own backyard.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you want the people around you, because the other thing it does is it drives competition in business. That's good for everyone. It makes you better.
Right.
Makes your rival better, but it's great for the people.
Yeah.
It's great for the consumer, and you want that because you want healthier people around you. You know, it's one of those things where you got to take care of your people. You got to take care of your people in your own backyard. Yeah, I'm really excited to get things popping here.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's why I'm hoping this leads to more things, because the more individuals, whether they're running a business or they're just starting up or they just have questions, right? Whether they want to be coached actually in fitness nutrition, or they're a coach looking to get business advice. Yeah. I mean, you guys in this area are the ones that they should be looking to, that not only are successful in your own right, but also aren't bullshit artists. Like you actually do care about helping other people, and you actually know how to help other people. Right. And so that's really the goal, I hope, whether one person shows up tonight or 1,000 people show up tonight. Right. I hope that the individuals that walk in that room understand the talent that's in there, and then continue to look to you guys for answers in the future, for help, because I think the greatest thing you could ever do for somebody else is help provide them a living, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Whether it's being a direct employer, or, you know, mentor type situation, right? Mentor.
Mentee,
mentor, a manatee. But yeah, for sure. So I'm super pumped.
Yeah. For the 20%ers, where can everybody find you guys?
Yeah. Several different places and locations. Overall, in3nutrition.com is our staple website. You know, if they're interested in actually our certification processes, that's NCI certifications.com.
The Nutritional Coaching Institute.
Nutritional Coaching Institute. NCI certifications.com is not launched yet. And as well as, you know, we do the All In podcast, you know, more kind of Jason Phillips bringing the fire on Thursdays. It's kind of, we talk a little nutrition, we do some Q&As, but it's definitely something that we enjoy doing.
Nice. Awesome. And for you guys, because we're going to throw this up on both channels, if you're looking to become a 20%er, or you feel like you're already in that camp, you can visit hwrt20.com. Those are the 4 pillars that we stand on: health, wealth, relationships, and time. And establishing balance amongst those 4 things. If you talk to anybody who's living their best life, that in flow all the time, those are the principles, right?
Yeah.
So those are the only 4.
Love that.
Those are the only 4 things that matter. So
that's perfect.
Well, yeah, dude. Appreciate your time today, man. This has been
appreciate
awesome.
you having me. I'm glad we got to sit here and rip it. I don't know how long we've been going, but this has been fucking dope. So yeah, support the Nutrition Coaching Institute. Come join the 20%ers, and I'm looking forward to ripping it up tonight.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
For sure.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
See ya.